I will be reading the Fantasy Craft classes. Just a brief description. The Assassin. The Assassin is an agent of violent change, a hidden warrior, removing key figures for flag or fortune. He's a natural social chameleon, skilled at avoiding notice and gaining entry to so-called secure areas. He does this not by slipping from shadow to shadow, but by moving with the flow of people, Assassin's Creed. Exploiting the anomaly of crowds, I can't say that word. Once in place, he strikes with absolute precision. He can't afford to harm bystanders or leave behind evidence, as it's sloppy and won't earn him any new contacts. Burglar. In a world of killing things and taking their stuff, thievery is a time-honored profession. The burglar cuts out the middleman, using guile, stealth, and good old-fashioned dirty tricks to pull off daring raids and heists, often without drawing his weapon. He brings a powerful blend of abilities to an adventuring party, helping them overcome dangerous traps and barriers, circumvent guards, and cut through the defenses of particularly dangerous enemies. Captain. An accomplished strategist and commander, the captain guides allies through the fierce tides of war with ease. His leadership and confidence are only matched by his incredible versatility, from precision planning to troop motivation to piercing the mind of the enemy. The captain is an inspiration on and off the battlefield. Curator. Can't say the word. Not all adventurers live and die by the sword. Some, like the curator, prefer to exploit words. This silken-tongued schemer is part nobleman and part swindler, manipulating the dreams and desires of friend and foe alike. His plots shape kingdoms, make fortunes, incite riots, destroy reputations, and shatter worlds. Explorer. At the remote edges of civilization, the explorer lives a thrilling life of rough-and-tumble adventure, exploring long-buried dungeons, unearthing lost civilizations, and piercing together secrets unknown for millennia. He's most at home in the uncharted expanses most would call wild, but his unique talents are just as helpful in the tight confines of city streets and along the winding roads between them. Keeper. In every culture, the most learned thinkers and builders set standards for trade, invention, healing, and other roots of culture. When these scholars scramble for an answer, they look to the Keeper, a fiendishly clever academic icon whose knowledge is only eclipsed by his desire for more. With a greater view of the world than most ever envisioned, the Keeper turns facts into weapons, secrets into victories, and questions into adventure. Lancer. Since men first rode cavalry has decided the course of history, the Lancer exemplifies this, lording over the open battlefield and brutally trampling opponents. At the reins, he's an unbridled terror, able to push his mount to incredible, some might say impossible, acts. But even on his feet, he manages to give enemies pause. None are fiercer, more disciplined, or more ready to face death. Mage. The mysterious figure in robes decorated with symbols of power, the studious scholar of lost secrets, the master of magical forces great and small. The mage is all these things and more. His comprehension and control of the arcane grant him dominion over all creation. But they also set him apart and compel him to research fearsome truths that shake the very pillars of heaven. Even fellow spellcasters cannot see his path, for each mage is unique, viewing the world through alien eyes. Priest. The priest is a shaman, druid, cleric, acolyte, or other purveyor of the faith who anchors communities and conveys the will of the universe. His power derives from his close connection to the divine. The strength of his faith grants access to special skills, strange and sometimes magical powers, and even miracles. The particulars of these abilities depend on the priest's faith. If he's devoted to nature, he might be a healer, for example. But if he follows an evil trickster god, his offerings could include perversions of the mind and body. Sage. A deep well of knowledge, but more importantly, a fountain of wisdom and guidance. The sage has the practical know-how to help any party reach its goals. He's flexible and adaptable, always ready with a trick or word of advice, and he can dabble in the techniques of almost any class, filling in where needed. Scout. Few endeavor the wilds as casually as the scout, and none but he can truly thrive. He is as comfortable atop northern glaciers as deep in swamp lakes, fearing nothing in nature, not weather nor beasts, not even the threatening promise of empty night. He can live off the land almost indefinitely, and employs wild, unpredictable tactics most civilized adventurers never even consider. Soldier. The soldier inhabits a bloody twilight realm of endless warfare, slashing and crushing his way from one bitter struggle to the next. Even when at relative peace, he is always preparing, always on the lookout for the next fight, and this vigilance is part of what makes him such a godsend to fellow adventurers. Nothing levels the field of battle like a well-honed soldier, except perhaps two soldiers.